I've been in better shape in my life. I go in and out, it's been a while. Not last year, but the year before, my big accomplishment is I ran the New York City Marathon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Half of you are like, no, you didn't. I did, you bastards. All right? I ran and completed. All right, fine, I didn't. But I thought about it. Which I guess is technically different than running it. Turns out I couldn't run the New York City Marathon because I didn't want to. Which is the main reason I don't do a lot of things. I just rarely admit it. It's like, hey, Jim, why don't you come to my birthday party? I didn't want to. We never really reply to invitations that way. Don't want to go. Completely available, just not interested. Really wish I wasn't there, so I won't be. I know people who have run the New York City Marathon. They always bring it up. They're like, yeah, I ran the New York City Marathon. I was asked, did you win? No, but I finished. What place you come in? I don't know. Sounds like you came in last. Really, what you're saying is you lost the New York City Marathon. If I were you, I wouldn't bring that up. But that's why some people run marathons, so that they can say, I ran a marathon, which to me is not a good enough reason. Heck, I can say I ran a marathon. In fact, earlier I did. Didn't feel good, it felt dishonest. I guess what I'm trying to say is marathon runners are liars. All of them. It's too far, it's way too far. 26.2 miles, that's too far to run, jog, or frankly drive, let's be serious. But you know what? I'm not a runner. Half of you are like, we never thought you were. At this point, we're not sure if you're a walker. But running is huge, right? There are stores just for runners. There's magazines dedicated to running. Runner's World, a magazine all about running. And if you thought running was boring, wait till you read about running. At this point, is there any information we don't have on running? Oh, you're supposed to use your arms when you run. What? I think I've been running backwards. No wonder I keep losing. The runner's high, I'm sure that's not a myth. Let me get this right. You're confusing exhaustion for high? Have you ever been high before? How can you confuse I can't breathe with joy? The runner's high. Has anyone ever used that as an excuse? Sorry, I ate all the chips, runner's high. Yeah, I ran a 10K in high school. I think I'm still high. But there's running, and then there's running a marathon. You know you have to pay to run a marathon? What? For the New York City Marathon, you have to pay $250 to run by yourself 26 miles. That's some S&M stuff there. That's like the subplot of a Law & Order Special Victims Unit. You gotta pay that up front. It's not like there's like a toll system, like 13 mile, my chip, what is this, a chip reader? You ever see the beginning of a marathon? All the runners line up in their voluntary prison number. And then someone shoots a gun, red flag, and the runners disperse like Godzilla's approaching. Ah! Why is there a weapon involved in a foot race? Whatever happened to someone saying, go? All right, let's review how we're gonna start the marathon. We'll get all the lemmings lined up there, and then without any warning, Cooter will shoot his .357. In the air this time, Cooter. Then we'll just sit back, count the money, and watch some of them soil themselves. You ever see the winner of a marathon? They do not look healthy. They look like they were forced to run a marathon. Like it was some negotiation as part of ransom. I finished, now can I have my children? I ran 26 miles, I drank my own urine, I'm wearing a tinfoil blanket. What's going on with my kids? course, I respect people who run marathons. Heck, I'm impressed by the people who pass out water at marathons. I always look at them like, I couldn't do that. Probably gotta get up early. Then you gotta find cups. Then there's passing out all that water. My arm's just sore thinking about it. At least those people are doing something at the marathon. You ever see the rest of people watching the marathon? They're like, what is going on in your life? If you're watching strangers run a marathon. I suppose some of them are there supporting friends. You know, I wouldn't want that. I don't even want someone to see me in a hurry. That seems like a big request of a friend, right? Hey, can you watch me run 26 miles? Only take your entire Sunday. You can only watch someone run part of a marathon. It's not that big of a commitment. It's like, you can do it, you can do it. All right, I'm going to brunch. But you can watch someone run a marathon. You can't go into a health club and watch someone on a treadmill. Excuse me, sir, what are you doing? I'm supporting that lady.